Good morning, everyone. I'm Rabbi Farkas from Valley Beth Shalom. It's your morning coffee in Kavanah. I've been thinking a lot about where we are in this world and this process. Safer at Home, Memorial Day. Especially, we honored our veterans this past weekend and been thinking a lot about what that means, what they fought for, what our countries fought for, and the version of peace that's before each and every one of us as an opportunity. This week's Torah portion is called Naso. It's the second Torah portion in the book of Bamidbar, and that's the book of Numbers. And I've been thinking a lot about that because in the end of this week's Torah portion is the most famous blessing that we have in the entire Torah, where the priests reach up their hands and bless the people with what's called the threefold blessing. The blessing that may God bless you and keep you. May God's light and grace always shine down upon you, and may God place upon you peace. Vayasem lecha shalom. And I've thought a lot about peace because that's what many of our veterans have fought for and died for. And so I've been thinking a lot about how easy it is to create violence and how hard it is to create peace. The inventions that we have in this world, the capturing lightning and creating electricity, capturing fire to cook and to build and to bake. Capturing the powder became gunpowder. Each one of these inventions, great inventions, the capacity to build a world of peace, but also a world of just unimaginable violence. When God created the world and clawed the earth together and formed us, God created a soul in each and every one of us. God didn't create the violence, we did. God didn't hand the stone to Cain to murder his brother Abel. God didn't hand the knife to Abraham, although he did command him to bring him up to Moriah. God didn't command Pharaoh to make the Israelites slaves. We did all of that, human beings, one to another. God doesn't command violence. God sees that we invented violence. And I can't help but thinking that in that worldview, with that sense of feeling and that sense of the way that we see the world, that each and every one of us has the capacity for peace and the capacity for violence. And why is it that we've been able to create electricity, we've been able to capture electricity, we've been able to create vast cities, we've been able to ford rivers, we've been able to build skyscrapers and bridges, we've been able to span the globe with cables that allows us to speak to each other instantaneously from anywhere to anywhere at any moment. And yet the one thing that seems to elude us more than anything else is peace. Why is it that we are able to create a world full of hubris and greed and avarice, but also a world of kindness and beauty, and yet the one thing that seems to always elude us is peace? Why is it that we're able on a whim to get on an airplane and fly across the world, launch rockets into space, see across the galaxy, but we're unable to find peace? When Rabbi Akiva was arrested for teaching Torah, one of the Roman sheriffs essentially said to him, if God loves the poor so much, how come God doesn't take care of the poor? And even though there's some banter that goes back and forth in the Talmud, Rabbi Akiva essentially says it's not just God's job to take care of the poor, it's our job. But the idea of love, the idea of taking care of the poor, the idea of finding peace comes from the imagination of a world that doesn't exist, a world that's over the horizon, a world that seems like a figment, a world that we envision, a world that we try to create but never quite get there. And so that idea of peace itself, no matter all of our technological feats, our capacities for beauty and love, our capacity for violence, destruction, that idea of peace, that dream of peace must come from somewhere else. It comes from a world we don't see. And that's exactly what the priests bless us with in this moment, in Parshat Naso. that they want God to protect you and bless you, and they want God's light and grace to shine upon you, and to yasem lecha shalom, to give you, to place upon you the capacity for peace. It's not God's job to make peace. It's God's job to give each and every one of us the capacity to make peace. And imagine if we spent as much money and energy as we do in creating technology, as we do in creating weapons of war, as we do in trying to harm each other. Imagine if we used all that effort to create peace. Reach out to that world that we don't know, only the one we dreamed of. The world of our imagination, the world that comes from somewhere else, and try to bring that home. So may God bless you and keep you. May God's light always shine down upon you. And may God place upon each and every one of you and myself and everyone around us the capacity to bring the world that we do not know into the world that we know. A world that we only imagine, and we be a partner to God in creation. A world of peace. Have a wonderful day.